Hey YouTube, it's your girl Chic from Chic Speaks on It. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, come on in. We have some things to talk about. We got a lot to talk about. We actually started talking last week because we was over here. I know I was pissed off, like, what the hell he gonna get arrested? I'm tired of talking about what this man has done. We've been talking for a long time what this man has done. So let's talk about it. Let's get caught up. Let's talk about what has happened since our last live last week when we were talking about a new lawsuit that came out that was slapped on him for just child, all kinds of craziness. If you did not check out that live, check that live out. A member of his female girl group he had with two ladies. What was her name? Dawn? Was that her name? Dawn? Child, it just seems like, I've done so much since then. We're covering so many stories, but listen, he's getting lawsuit after lawsuit slapped on him. Now, finally, the feds have said, our turn, our turn. Let's slap this on you now. So that's what we're going to get into tonight. Welcome. Hey, PM. Hello, hello. Listen, I seen the message like, Sheik, where you at? It's going down. I told y'all it go down when I close my eyes. When I close my eyes, get some rest, it just start going down. It's almost like they like, shit, she sleep now. Let's go ahead and make it do what it do because we know she gonna have something to say because I always got something to say. So yes, this is nothing different. I'm gonna be talking. I want y'all to be talking too. We're gonna get into some things. We got some questions. We'll see if we can get some answers from this U.S. attorney because he looked like he might know a thing or two. I don't know. Maybe it's the suit and the tie. I don't know, but he looked like he know damn something. Could be the glasses, but we gonna see. Hey, Shelly. Hello, hello. You all, as you come on in, please make sure you like the video. Like the video. We're going to be talking tonight. We'll see how long it lasts. Child, I haven't done a really, really long live stream in a minute, but there's so much to say on this topic. Everybody and their mama and their grandmama are talking about this story. So I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and add my little sauce to it, add my little 2 cents to it, because I have some thoughts and some opinions, and I'm sure many of you do too. And this is a space for you to talk about it, to you to let us know how you really feel, because people are expressing how they feel. A lot of people are here for this arrest. It's a big deal. A lot of people are here for this arrest because it's been a long time coming, child. We didn't seen video footage, we didn't seen still pictures, we didn't looked after lawsuit paperwork after one after another, and it's just like, damn, like what else do we need to see? Like what else? Like we didn't seen all we need to see. We just needed them folks to see all they needed to see, and they were like, listen, Linda, listen, it take time. Don't worry about how long it took. Just worry about that day is finally here. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into it. PM says, yes, he looks smart. He looked like he know a little something. He looked like he not going to get up there and get on some bull. Y'all know sometimes people get up there on that stage. You be like, who put your ass up there? You need to sit your ass down and let somebody else come up. But he like, he looked like he might know what he doing, or yeah, at least sound like he know what he doing. So we are going to listen to what he has to say. Follow and listen to what he has to say. We're going to get into the actual documents, the black and the white. What is in writing? Like I hear, it's like, you know what? I hear what you're saying, but let's talk about what's in writing. Let's talk about what has a good chance of sticking. We not here on no speculation. We want to know what you found, sir. We about the evidence at this point, because I heard it was like last November when Cassie first hit him with that really big lawsuit, and child, his life been spiraling ever since. What she got, what it was alleged $80 million. That's what the streets was saying. She never came out speaking about it. But y'all know how that go. But 80 was the magic number I was hearing, $80 million. Needless to say, after that, everybody started coming after this man. But somebody, remember we covered last week from the jail system, said, you know what, F that. Forget 80 million. I can't do nothing with that. I got commissary to pay for. I need to make sure I got money on my books. I need a cool 100 million. And guess what? The judge said, you know what? You right. Even though you might not be going home no time soon, but yeah, you can use that 100 million. So Diddy lost to a lawsuit for $1 million where a man alleged that he had SA'd him some years back. Child, that man was representing his own self. Remember, we watched that. We was like, damn, he was sounding smart. So if we can at least get this one right here to sound as smart, the one that's on my screen right now to sound as smart as that one who got 100 million from Diddy, I think we're going to have a good night. I think we're going to have a good night because that man did not come to play as we watched. And child, effective the first of the month, October 1st, he get his first deposit of $10 million. Can you imagine the first of the month for you hitting like that? And child, he locked up. He locked up. Imagine how we would appreciate it. And we ain't even locked up. This man is locked up and he like, shit, Sheik, I still can appreciate it. Even if I am locked up, I still can appreciate getting a deposit every month on the first for $10 million all the way up until the $100 million suit is paid, is satisfied. So yes, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. Welcome. How y'all doing tonight? Hello, Anna. She says hello. She can chat. We're gonna talk about it. So yeah, come on in. Make sure you hit the like button and engage with me. Let me know what comments you have because we're going to get into what this U.S. attorney. So what they say, he's the U.S. attorney of the Southern District of New York. So he was like, listen, y'all, I think he said he hadn't been in, he's maybe a first term. He's in his first term. So y'all, he knew. Can you imagine like you just getting into a position and this is the case you got? Y'all think he gonna get reelected? This man was like, listen, we did not come to play. We did not come to play. So I'm gonna tell y'all why we didn't come to play. So it would behoove any of you out there who trying to play to reevaluate yourselves in your entire life because we don't play. We do not play. So we gonna listen to, and try to learn what that mean. Hey, Tanae. Hello. She said, hey, y'all. Anna says the diddler has gotten diddled by Diddy. By like, you know what I hear playing in my head? Ding dong, the witch is dead. The witch is dead. That's the song that I hear playing in my head because, child, we like people have been just so annoyed with this. It was like, like I said, this November will make 1 year since the singer Cassie filed that huge lawsuit. And then they said in February was when he had the big bust where they raided his house in Los Angeles and the house in Florida. So that's like 6 months. So people like, what the hell took so long? What took so long? We happy? We here, but damn, like for real though, like, but damn, y'all, we probably done lost some people who didn't live to see this pop off. What, did Tito not live to see this? Because y'all know we just lost Tito Jackson, James Earl Green. Who else? Like we done lost some people. So we got some people who did not even live, y'all, to see this day come. But we gonna still talk about it. We gonna be loud and clear. So anybody in the afterlife, everybody gonna hear what we got to say because the YouTube streets, the Google streets, anyway, everybody and their mama talking. Everybody, what y'all got? Y'all go Rich Homie Quan. Rich Homie Quan didn't even live because y'all know he probably didn't have some stories and probably been to some of them parties. Who knows what he didn't seen? So yeah, he missed it. I think what they had his going away service today. I don't know how many people caught it or tuned into it because this situation with Diddy has been like just taking over. So I didn't have the strength last night to jump on and talk about it because they say it was like in the wee hours they rolled up on him. I think I read he was at a hotel or something like that. So he was taken into an account like at night. I'm like, damn, they come at night. That was a new one for me. But I'm like, nah, I don't have to fight. I need all my strength for this one. I got to get my mind I got to get my mind right for this one. So I'm like, he'll still be there tomorrow. So for what I hear, his ass still locked up, and he gonna be there for a minute because they concerned that he gonna be trying to catch a flight to go where Russell Simmons, what they said, Bali. That's what they said. What's they say? What's Faith ex-husband? Y'all, what's that man Faith was married to? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Faith. She just divorced him. He was at Diddy's house when he got it raided the last time. Apparently, they supposed to be real tight. I can't think of his name. Y'all, what's that man name that Faith, the singer Faith, was just married to? Stevie J. Yeah, thank y'all, Stevie J. They were like, Stevie J, if you know it's good for you, you better get the hell on, because Stevie J be playing, role. Stevie J apparently is really tight with him. And he was at the house when one of the houses got raided. I think the Los Angeles house. He was at that house, and supposedly he was their child because he be using Diddy's music studio. But okay. Okay, if that's your story, play it. If that's your story, if that is your story. So people are like, is he gonna be next? Because it's like all these names getting thrown out. And y'all, do y'all think this man finna get to talking when they start telling him what the amount of time that he can get for each of these charges? Because last night they had the charges sealed, and I'm like, damn, where they do that at? I'm not used to them having charges kind of like sealed when it comes out that the people, them folks that ran up on somebody. We usually kind of know like right away, what the charges are. But the charges as of last night, they were sealed, but today they're not. But I just found that quite interesting that the charges were sealed last night. So I'm like, well, damn, what that mean? They trying to negotiate, they trying to work with a brother. But today, child, these charges are they speaking loud and clear. Y'all, he got sex trafficking. Like, he got anything you can think of that you can use baby oil with. They done slapped the charge on that man. Listen, I'm just still trying to wrap my mind about the baby oil. Who the hell is the distributor of the 100 bottles of baby oil? That's what I want to know. How is he on a reoccurring type? Y'all know when you have a product and you got that reoccurring order system in place where you don't have to place the order, it just keep coming because they like, shit, we know you love this product. We just got you on a continuous rotation, because ain't no way you getting online on Amazon every month and ordering additional bottles of baby oil. Y'all know them hotel sheets, them sheets was messed up and he was not getting no deposit back. All that damn oil. Y'all know at home when you get oil. I grew up using baby oil. I'm a black girl, putting baby oil on your legs, your body, your face. Baby oil, when it can get in your shirt, it is your clothes, it'll stain. Don't let that shit get in your rayon shirt. I know I wasn't the only one as a kid walking around with rayon. Yes, I was wearing rayon. And what you don't want is baby oil to hit any parts of your rayon. So now when I hear this man got over 1,000 bottles of baby oil, I'm just thinking about all kind of ish that he done effed up. How many outfits you ain't wearing no more? The sheets, the stuff, the people who got to come in behind, got them slipping and sliding. That's just a whole hazard. It's a whole hazard. So it is a lot. Welcome you all. Make sure you like the video. I'm about to take a trip over here to this press conference. Y'all know how we do. We go take a field trip over to this press conference and sit silently as this man talk his talk. Write down your questions in the event you got some questions, because we likely going to have some questions, and hopefully this man got some answers, because we need some answers. We done waited longer damn enough. We need some answers. So let's go ahead on over. In the meantime, make sure you all like, share, and subscribe. Welcome. If you're new to my channel, I am Chic. My channel is Chic Speaks on it. This is actually a backup channel to my main channel, Chic Speaks. So if you don't follow me over there, make sure you follow me over there. But on both channels, I just, cover just, it's a reaction channel. So I just react to just viral moments between the two channels. So make sure you subscribe to both of these channels. But child, let's go ahead and hear what the hell he got to say, because he looked like he about to say something. So hopefully it's worthwhile. Let's get into it. Fair use, fair use.
In a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity. To carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity. including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs, and that Combs hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims, at times by their hair. On one occasion in March of 2016, that conduct was captured on video and later reported in the media. Specifically, Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a victim in a Los Angeles hotel when the victim was attempting to flee. As alleged, these assaults often resulted in injuries to the victims, which took days or weeks to heal. In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse. The indictment also alleges other acts of violence undertaken by Combs and others, including...
I hope y'all taking notes. And in the meantime, have you hit the like button? I have looks like 2 likes. Make sure let me refresh. Hit the like button, please. Can you hit the like button? Please, please hit the like button. Give you time to hit the like button. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Listen, take notes, y'all, because I'm over here taking notes because this man came out the box talking about ex trafficking, kidnap. I'm like, well, damn, okay, let me write some of this down because it's a lot. It's quite heavy. It's many layers to it. And I want to just talk about as far as with what that looks like for him, as far as like time served, those who may have been involved in any of his shenanigans. Y'all, and don't forget, this man is a whole daddy out here. He just had a baby a couple of years ago. So he got children that aren't even 18 yet. So y'all keep all that in mind as we're, listening to this man talk about P. Diddy and these charges and their findings from their investigation, because it's quite serious. So again, thank you all. Like, share, subscribe, and let's get back to this press conference.
Violence against witnesses to his abuse, kidnapping, and arson. The indictment alleges that on more than one occasion, Combs carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses. Now, Combs did not do this all on his own. As I mentioned, Combs has been charged with RICO conspiracy. He used his business and employees of that business and other close associates to get his way. Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff. The indictment alleges that those individuals facilitated the freak-offs. They booked the hotel rooms and stocked them with the supplies, including drugs, baby oil, personal lubricant, extra linens, and lighting. When the hotel rooms got damaged, they helped clean it up. They arranged for victims and commercial sex workers to travel for the freak-offs, and they delivered large quantities of cash to Combs to pay for the commercial sex workers. The indictment also alleges that they helped Combs cover up his crimes. During the March 2016 incident at the LA hotel that I mentioned earlier, a member of the hotel security staff intervened, and Combs attempted to bribe the staff member with a stack of cash to make sure that what happened was kept quiet. And as the indictment alleges, in late 2023, after public allegations were made about Combs's crimes, he and others pressured witnesses and victims to stay silent, including by making phone calls to witnesses and victims and giving them a false narrative of what they had experienced. And as alleged, Combs used others to help conceal his abuse by monitoring and preventing victims from.
I'm gonna stop there because I was hearing that when they were, this gentleman, this U.S. attorney, I'm not sure what his name is, but when he just talked about Diddy, reaching out to victims and trying to kind of sway them to change their story and things like that. From what I'm hearing is that Dawn, that singer last week that we talked about, who was the latest suit that was slapped against him, she was a part of the dual female music group Dirty Money. From what I'm hearing, she was the person who allegedly he was contacting and get to kind of backtrack her story. So yes, that's so, as he's talking about, they're like, nah, this man need to be locked up because when he's outside, they can't control who he's talking to, who he's trying to coerce, all of this, because he's been doing that. He's been running scared. So he's trying to get people to kind of recant their story, back off, because his freedom is on the line. His freedom is on the line. So this is kind of what this U.S. attorney was just touching on, as far as with him having these conversations with victims and people like that who's been coming at him from supposedly, allegedly, Dawn, the singer from Dirty Money, was at least one of the people who he was really trying to work on with, trying to get her to recant her story and I guess the things that she alleged in that lawsuit she hit him with last week. So let's get back to this press conference.
From leaving a location in order to hide their injuries, or by locating and contacting a victim who had attempted to flee. As part of this investigation, in March of this year, special agents from HSI executed search warrants at Combs' residences in Miami and Los Angeles. They also executed a warrant for Combs' electronic devices. During those searches, agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs, more than 1,000 bottles altogether. Here are some of the items that we recovered during the searches. As you can see here, this is a drum magazine, large capacity, and it contains, I believe, 59 rounds. I mentioned as well, we recovered 3 AR-15s. This is a close-up shot of one of the AR-15s, and you can see right here, the serial number has been thoroughly defaced. Another picture of more ammunition and parts of 2 AR-15s right there. Now, I want to be clear about 2 things. First, this office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in sex trafficking, no matter how powerful or wealthy or famous you may be. No one should doubt our commitment on that. A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City. Today, he's been indicted and will face justice in the Southern District of New York. Second, we are not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly. Anyone with information can call 1-877-4-HSI-TIP. I want to express my deep appreciation for the victims and witnesses who have used their voices and helped bring this criminal conduct to light. We would not be here without them. I also want to thank the dedicated case agents on the HSI Trafficking in Person Squad in New York. They have been with us since day one and have worked tirelessly on this investigation. They will continue to be invaluable partners to us. I also want to thank the incredible agents and analysts from SDNY who have also provided tremendous assistance on this case. I'm deeply grateful for their continued work. And finally, I want to thank the outstanding career prosecutors from SDNY who are handling this case. Meredith Foster, Emily Johnson, Chrissy Slavic, Madison Smizer, and Mitzi Steiner, and their supervisors, Jamie Backleeper.
Y'all, I want to point out to y'all all them names that he just thanked who worked this case. Y'all, them was all female names. It was women who took his ass down. It was not one male name that this man just recited. So that stood out to me. Like, these women's like, oh, hell no. I'm tired of his ass. Y'all know how we was last week where I'm like, I'm sick of hearing headlines of what he done, the next lawsuit, how much money he have to pay. Listen, he needs to be damn locked up. Yes, I'm all for hitting him in his pockets, but damn it, I'm more for putting his ass behind bars. So apparently these women too. I wonder how many of them were sisters, y'all. I just want to know how many was sisters, how many was ethnic, because all them names that he named were women. That was a team of women who took his ass down. I said, well, I'll be damned. He done pissed off the wrong effing woman. You never know who connected to who, but these women says, oh, he got to go. He got to go. They put in them long hours. They said, F that, 2025 was not fin to get here with him walking these streets. That's the energy they came with. Let's get back to this press conference. I just want to point that out to y'all.
And Jacqueline Kelly. They are members of the Civil Rights Unit in our criminal division. We created the Civil Rights Unit when I became U.S. Attorney. I'm deeply proud of their work on this and so many other cases. I'll now take some questions.
Aaron Katursky, ABC.
Thanks, Nick. Damian, thanks. The indictment describes aggressive, open, violent, hedonistic abuse that you say was recurrent and widely known. Why did it take law enforcement so long to intervene? How many women were victimized by Sean Combs and how many others were involved?
Look, our investigation is ongoing. We are committed to bringing justice to everyone who's been victimized by the defendant. I can't tell you why it took so long. I think the better focus is on the fact that we are here today. And we are committed to making sure that justice is done. Next question.
Thank you. Julia Ainsley, NBC.
Thank you for doing this. You said we are not done and that Combs did not do this alone. Do you foresee that there could be other charges related to this case?
I'm not taking anything off the table.
Chad Fisher, Newsday.
What's the difference between the sex trafficking and promoting travel for the purpose of prostitution?
Well, there are different crimes with different elements. I don't think we should get into the nitty-gritty of the legal discussion right now, but the sex trafficking, we believe, they're all serious offenses, but the sex trafficking conduct carries some significant penalties, and we are gratified that we were able to bring that charge.
One more coercive than the other?
I'm not going to be able to get into that, but you can look it up, and yes, sex trafficking, especially when it involves coercion or force, is a very serious crime, and it carries significant penalties.
Good afternoon, Darla Miles, ABC 7 New York. Thank you for this press conference and for the details. 2 questions. In context of this indictment and the information that was presented to the grand jury, are you able to clarify the number of victims? It's mentioned plural in the indictment, but can you specify the number of victims just for this particular indictment? And secondly, can you provide details about the alleged arson?
Unfortunately, I'm not able to provide either. The number of victims, you are correct. We are intentional in saying multiple. The details of the arson incident are limited to what we have in the indictment and also the detention letter that we filed, which contains more details than the indictment does at various points. But we don't have anything more beyond that.
Child, listen. So, all right. He came with some answers. He came with some answers. He was like, listen, listen, I know it took long as hell. I know it took long as hell. What I picked up from that is that, yes, it took long as hell, and it wasn't because of me. It was some other folks that was just, hey, listen, I know, but listen, we here. So, because sometimes, it be multiple people, hands and stuff, and it's just not like maybe the person who's talking just, they don't have the control to be able to say, okay, go in now. It's other moving parts. You got to get the judges to sign off. Y'all know how y'all didn't seen the damn movies. Y'all know I go, this shit has been long as hell. So he was like, I know, listen, let's just focus on the win today. I want to point out this sex trafficking part because apparently that's like the big part. And the thing that I didn't hear them talk about with these charges yet was anything yet, as because he said it'd be more charges to come. It didn't mention anything about anything dealing with minors. So you're going to have what would go in the molestation. Like I was looking for things to do with minors because I say that's because one of the suits that came at him was centered around a young lady. And I think her situation falls underneath the sex trafficking. She was said that she lived in one state and she was put on like a private plane and coerced to go over to meet him in another state. And she said that over there, let me see, prior to her going over, I think she said she was assaulted. And then afterwards, Puffy wanted to meet her. So then they put her on a plane and she went over to where he was at. So that's trafficking right there. But they haven't mentioned anything to me centered around anything deal. I guess the kidnapping, but I feel like an adult can be kidnapped too. So I don't know. I'm just thinking how I didn't hear anything really pertaining to anything dealing with an age type situation. So who knows? Maybe it could fall in the kidnapping. I don't know. But they didn't really call out anything centered around like him having inappropriate acts and things like that with minors. And many of us have heard all these different stories floating around pertaining to underage people. I know I have. And one in particular was the young lady who she said she was like 16 at the time. And she, so I remember that. And I think her story came out around the time where that producer guy, what's his name? Y'all know who I'm talking about, the man earlier this year, Little Rob. I think right around when his lawsuit hit, it might have had information pertaining to the young lady I'm speaking on. It might have had her information in that same lawsuit. But I just remember seeing lots of pictures, and the young lady had taken photos with her phone of being with Diddy, like sitting on his lap at a studio. And I think she had flown to New York, but I can't remember what state she left from. It was another state, like, up north, maybe it was another state up north. But she had pictures and she was sitting on his lap. And she said she still had the clothes or something that she wore I don't know, but it was just a lot of detail, y'all. This was like when a lot of information was just coming out surrounding him. But I do recall the young lady saying like she was like 16 at the time when that happened. So let me get through some of you all comments, but welcome. Have you all hit the like button? Welcome. I thank you for being here with me as we try to understand, child. We trying to understand, figure out what the hell going on. We finally getting seeing some movement. P. Diddy is in custody. So right now I haven't heard no talks of no bail or whatever. From what I hear, People who do have federal charges on them can get granted for bail. I don't think that is really very common that you hear about them, being released on bail, but you can be released on bail. Will he be released on bail? I don't know. This U.S. attorney looks at him as being more sound like a flight risk, because he was like, listen, when he free, he be harassing people. He be trying to get people to recant their story. Just tell different versions of what happened. So it don't sound like, it seemed like if the state got something to do with it, or the feds got something to do with it, their vote is nah, he need to go and stay here, at least till we get through the trial. Like, we need him here. Listen, just like they denied, who was that, been sitting in damn jail for for 2 years now. The YSL, what's his name? Young Thug. Y'all, I'm here in Atlanta where he is. So that's a local trial that's going on here, but they refuse to let him out on bail. They refuse. He's asked, I think he gave up. I don't know if he still be asking, but I know the first year he was asking, and they was like, hell to the no. So y'all see how that's been a whole shit show with that trial. And he's been having to sit and be in jail throughout changing of judges, throughout changing of attorneys. They still made him sit and not be able to get released on bail, even if it's just, say, even him being on house arrest. So it seems like this going to be another case where they're going to be like, nah, we're going to need you to sit here while we sift through this. Anna says, do you think this is part of a humiliation ritual, or higher up throwing him under the bus, basically giving up on him? I think anything is possible. I do believe in, I am one to believe in, the whole Illuminati and the powers that be that controls things at the top. And what I've come to believe or see, what I believe is that a lot of times when we see big name people start to fall, that's because the higher up person now is just tired of protecting you and covering up for you for whatever reason. So that's always what I think when I see someone big, just like looking like they're out standing for themselves and not really getting the support. It has me to think like, oh my God, who the hell did they piss off? Because whoever they pissed off, they not caring about trying to preserve their name, their legacy, their money. What I always notice is a lot of times when, big name people say if they have some type of scandal in the industry, and quickly it starts to get covered up, and then we move on to the next story and we never talk about them anymore, my mind automatically thinks that this is a protected person. So when it comes to mind is when I think of Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart then had different things popping off in that life. And then so quickly we'll move past it, and now the conversation is centered around his next big project. He is someone who comes to mind when I think about someone who's protected, which means that he's still in the good graces of the powers that be in the industry. So I do believe that, when we see people like start to fall at this point, they like, listen, you ain't finna bring us all down. So you've been acting too reckless. And I think that's what's happening with what's happened with P. Diddy, is that what they always say is not really what you do, is how you do it. And he's been acting so reckless with his behaviors and the things that he does. Child, over 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Damn, you couldn't do 10 at a time. Damn, he had to do over 1,000, so he wasn't moving in silence, as we see, like he was just out with it. But when you see someone who's gotten away with doing stuff for so long, they feel like they're invincible and they can just do whatever the hell they want to do. And because nothing ever happens to them, because they've been protected up until that point. But that day has come to where the people at the top, like, you know what, we're tired of your ass. You're going to blow up you're going to mess up the whole spot. We can't let you bring down everybody. We can't let you bring down everybody. So it's going to be interesting to see if he starts talking and naming names, because at this point, it's like, okay, he's going to be thinking, well, hell, what I got to lose? Y'all ain't protecting me. So why I need to try to worry about protecting you? So that's my thought on that. Anna, PM said, I guess they wanted to make that when they got him to sink him. Yeah, right. Right. And they say they picked him up earlier than expected. Yes, I heard they picked him up maybe like a day before expected. But I also heard that a week in advance, he was forewarned that the feds was coming to get him. And that's when he relocated to New York. So he had noticed that them folks was coming. It just seems like they came maybe a day earlier than what he thought they, what he was told they was coming. But from what I've heard, like a 1 week in advance, like he knew that they was going to be picking him up. And that's when he relocated to New York. And I don't know where he was coming from, whether it was Los Angeles or Florida, because you really, since all this been popping off, he's kind of been kind of laying low. You'll see, pictures or things out there with the kids, but he's kind of been laying low. I ain't seen him at nobody party. I don't think he's been getting invited to the parties because I haven't seen him, at any award shows or anything like that. So he been laying low. So I don't know really where he was before he came to New York, but he wasn't in New York. He went to New York when they was like, yo, we need to holler at you. And that's when he went to New York. And it says King of the Creep Squad, right? And let's talk about it. What are some other names that we think that partakes in such activities, whether they do it with him or just have their own private little situations? Because we've seen, especially since last year when Cassie lawsuit came out, just all these names. Y'all remember when Bishop T.D. Jakes' name was getting thrown out there? Because I don't know if Lil J in his lawsuit, if he's threw out the name T.D. Jakes, but y'all remember when T.D. Jakes was out there windmilling from the pulpit trying to protect himself and his name. But we just started just hearing all these names. Child, Cuba Gooding Jr., Lil Jaden produced pictures of Cuba with his arm around him, just smiling extra hard. So even before Cassie had this lawsuit, we were just hearing, just the streets was talking. We were hearing things, but y'all know we hear things probably about 90% of the people in the industry. We just hear it. Most of us a lot of times hadn't seen any evidence. It's just that chatter of what pops off in Hollywood. So to me, it seems like when Cassie started speaking, it was like, I knew it. I knew it was going down. I knew it. It was one of those type of moments to where I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew I wasn't crazy because it was a lot of detail in her suit. And it really supported a lot of thoughts that people, just regular everyday folk like me or you, who thought, as far as what it seemed like they don't be on the up and up. Some just don't seem right. Some just don't seem right. Just don't pass the smell test. And when Cassie came out talking, through that lawsuit, excuse me, I feel like that was, an aha, like I got you co-signing moment for many people. And then it just took her, the woman, to speak up first. After that, everybody started talking. Everybody started talking. I feel like had Cassie not done what she did last year, none of these people who've been talking since her would have been talking. And I think it was all rooted out of fear. I think it was all rooted out of fear why they weren't talking, because as this U.S. attorney says, they were like threatened with, okay, well, if you talk, then, we're going to take your money, which is going to impact your livelihood. You're not going to have this record deal, even though he probably wasn't going to give them one anyway, but he just lying, dangling over their head like a carrot, and where he really didn't have any intent on really putting them on like Cassie. Did he ever really have an intent on making Cassie a big star? Like, no. I think, he sold her on this idea that, stick with me, kid, I'll take you places. But it was more so take you places as you just been, my chick on the side, not from a career standpoint, because she didn't ever really have a career. She had a little bit of, a little slight music career that lasted for probably less than 5 minutes. And then she did a little modeling for Sean John. So like, she really didn't pop. She didn't do any of those things that I'm sure that he promised her. And so she just got stuck in this cycle of abuse. And here's the thing on that. I don't ever like to victim shame but I don't feel like anything that happened with her should have happened. But I also want to point out that a lot of times people will stay in unfavorable situations for money and fame and things like that. Like they will. So I believe that early on that was the case, but things just started getting so bad to where even when she wanted to leave, it just at this point, it was like she felt like she couldn't. But early enough, she could have, in the very beginning stages. But when you hang over her head, the singing contract or whatever, the modeling gig that she had, it had her to be like, you know what, all right, then whatever, let me stay put. Because most likely she probably was, giving her family money and things like that. So for her, she felt like, okay, well, let me just continue to take one for the team because I do have a better quality of life as far as from a financial standpoint. My family are better, in a better situation, even though I'm getting put through hell. But it got to a point to where she was like, okay, none of that matter. I already want to leave. And then that's when you couldn't. We saw on camera the time when she tried to leave, and he beat her in the lobby, which the U.S. attorney says a worker saw it, and he attempted to bribe them, to not say anything. I'm wondering, when they use the word attempted to bribe, did the bribe work? Because nobody never said nothing. So I'm like, okay, y'all saying attempted to bribe somebody to not say nothing. Okay, I don't feel like nobody said nothing because we just now heard of the incident. Like, we didn't hear about the incident back when it happened. So whatever the hell he did, it worked. So I'm just confused on the attempt word that they used, because to me, it wasn't no attempt. It was a successful bribery. Like, it didn't come out. It meaning like it didn't hit the news. Like it wasn't reported to where there was a charge against him that he had to go deal with. It wasn't talked about. It wasn't talked about. So to me, at that time, that was a win for him. So I was kind of confused on the attempted part, because I'm like, okay, if that's the words y'all want to use, I'm kind of confused on that one. Anna says, do you think this is part of his ritual, or is it the higher ups being done with him? So I answered that, yeah, I think the higher ups are definitely done with him. Also, what I heard about, y'all know how, I don't know if y'all familiar with like Russell Simmons on that level and how he's in, I think that he's in Bali or something like that. But allegedly the reason why he's over there, because he was running from some SA charges where a lady had claimed that he had SA'd her, and that's where he ran off to. So what I'm hearing, word on the curb, is that the reason why he's able to be over in Bali is because he's paying off the government over there. So when Stevie J name came up, they like, Stevie better run to Bali, but they're like, wait a minute, Stevie can't go over there because Stevie ain't got no money. Stevie ain't got no money like that to be going over there unless Diddy pay him, But I imagine Diddy's assets and all that are like frozen, so he can't really be trying to help somebody financially, even if he wanted to. But yes, so allegedly, Russell Simmons is over in Bali because he's paying the government to protect him, which is how he's able to be over there, child. Y'all know it's serious with him over there when his kids and graduated college, both of the girls, and he didn't even come back for that. he don't step foot in the U.S. because of, allegedly this SA charge. And I remember when the SA allegation hit, it probably been about 6 years, maybe like 7 years ago. And I remember this was right at the top of that whole Me Too movement where all them charges was coming out against like Bill Cosby. And I remember charges coming out for Russell Simmons. And then it was just quiet. And I didn't know it got quiet because his ass had left the country. I just learned that he left the country maybe within like the last 2 years. I'm like, oh, that's why it got quiet. He got the hell on. He left. He jumped ship. He left, y'all. I think I didn't even know he had left until, remember when y'all about a year or so, Kimora and her daughter were on the internet talking greasy about Russell. And the daughter was talking about Russell not, supporting her. I don't know, but y'all remember it was, I don't know if you do remember or not, but Kimora and one of the girls, the younger one, were on the internet just talking about just Russell, just talking about him bad. And just, Kimora started airing out, talking about the age, like how she was in high school when she she started telling all the damn business. She was like, you ain't running me no checks no more, so I'm finna air it out. She started talking about how she started dating that man when she was probably like 16. And the reason why she know the age, because she remembered that when she was dating him, when it was prom season, and she ended up going to prom with just some friends because her man was damn old as hell. He couldn't go to prom with her, so she couldn't go with another guy. So she ended up going, with some girlfriends or whatever, because he was that much older than her. That's how she knows, like, about how old she was. And her mama knew. I told y'all folks to do some stuff for $1. That what they say, for a dime a dollar. They sell themselves out. Mamas will sell the daughters out. Daddies even be in on it too sometimes. So it just be like that. But yeah, she said she was in high school. So she starts spilling all the tea, because now, she grown as hell with grown kids. So, it ain't no charges or nothing that can be put onto anybody for that. But she was openly talking like, yeah, I was a teenager. I was like 16. Like, she was like adamant about, like, yeah, I was like 16 because I was in high school and it's prom time and I didn't go with anyone because I couldn't take it. Child, she was dropping all the tea. She was just going in. It was just on social media. She was pissed off at him. So I think maybe around that time is when I learned that he wasn't in the country. He was in the country. And I'm like, damn. So that's why he gone. That's why he gone. Hey, Thomasini said government gangster charges on his ass. They are on him like white on rice, child. So next said, what was going on with the baby oil, child? Whatever the hell it was, he needed more than 10. He needed over 1,000. I'm like, did he had a hitch on like a auto order? Y'all, because y'all know sometimes you get them discounts when you have it on that repeat order, because they said they found over 1,000. Listen, what they didn't say is they found damn boxes of condoms or nothing. They didn't say nothing like that. They said they found baby oil and lubricant and weapons and ammo, but they didn't say nothing about finding no boxes of condoms. So peep that part. Like, so these freak offs was freaking, and I ain't heard no talks about what type of protection that was popping off, while these freak offs was taking place. So I don't know, but they didn't seize no boxes of condoms, because I don't see why they wouldn't have had it listed after the 1,000+ bottles of baby oil bottles in the paperwork, in the indictment. 1,000 bottles. Child, was over 1,000 bottles. I wonder if they were like, listen, we counted 1,000. We damn done counting. It was over 1,000. But listen, y'all know he done messed up the hospital sheets, coming there doing the absolute most. All that damn baby oil. The people walking in them rooms like, what the hell? Why is so damn slippery in here? Why is smelling like baby oil? Like, what the hell is going on? Y'all know sometimes it's hard to clean up baby oil. You can't tell me they was leaving those hotel rooms just as they found him. No, not with all that popping off. No, them rooms wasn't the same. Them rooms was not the same. He was like, listen, y'all, don't ask no questions. I'll just throw some extra money to y'all. And he went the hell on about his business. Them staff was probably like, what the hell going on in here? Why do it smell like baby oil when he come? Yes, it's the baby oil, child. Shelly Young says, right. And I was thinking to myself, you must be awfully dry if you need that much lube. But think about it. Cassie was saying, like, this was happening for like hours. So just thinking about just the amount of time that all this is popping off, you probably ain't gonna be naturally lubricated that whole time. You gonna need some help, because this stuff was happening for hours, probably like starting at night into the early morning. And if you need that many damn bottles of baby oil, and then they use the word commercial. What was the word they used? The commercial excuse me, was that the commercial workers that he was hiring to come in to participate with the freak offs? I guess that man was like, listen, we about to get our money's worth, because I'm sure that service wasn't cheap. We're hiring those men to come in, because remember, Cassie in her paperwork, in the lawsuit, she said he would make her go on the website and pick out pick out somebody. And I'm pretty sure that service, that gigolo service, we'll call it, the male escort, that service, I'm sure that service wasn't cheap. I'm sure it wasn't cheap. So that man like, listen, we finna get our money's worth. So y'all finna earn this thousands of dollars I'm about to pay y'all for this experience. So yes, I listen. I ain't never even thought that I would even one day even give thought of somebody having over 1,000+ bottles of baby oil for a freak out session. That's just a lot. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. Child, have y'all hit the like button? Welcome, 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 welcome. Tanae say, is he looking different because of plastic surgery or stress or both? Probably both, but I'm sure he's stressed as hell, but probably a combination of both. He looked just like his mama to me. I don't know what his daddy looked like. I heard his dad passed away when he was maybe like 3 years old, and his dad was like a street type guy, like a drug type, kingpin type guy. And then I was hearing allegedly the mama background. She was a prostitute. Like that was her thing. So listen, did y'all know he has a sister? I learned through all of this that there's a sister that he has. I didn't even know them. He had a sister because I'd never heard talk of siblings. But yes, he has a sister. But they may have different fathers though. But there's a sister though. I guess they share the same mom. But yeah, I believe he has. I've learned like that he has a sister since last November when everything kind of started unfolding about him. But if I can recall, I believe the sister would say like the mom would kind of put all her attention and energy into him, onto him and not, so much onto her. So it's probably why many of us didn't even know she even doggone existed. But yeah, I'm sure he got a lot to be stressed about. He has a lot to be stressed about. Anna says, hit the like button. Have y'all hit the like button? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tanae says, transporter people sounds nuts. Yes, I mean, and here's the thing, like if you have a plane, he has his own private plane. That's not that's not difficult. He has his own plane. So I can easily see how that can take place. I'm just now wondering if with these charges, if anything is centered around minor activity, like with activity with minors, because of the young lady who was 16 who came out talking earlier this year, I believe, with saying that she was put on a plane to go and see him. Now her mom did. I think she said her mama maybe was at work or something like that. So it was one of those things where being a fast girl, she snuck out, went to a club, met a guy who said he knew P. Diddy, and he was like, oh, I'll get him on the phone. He called P. Diddy. P. Diddy was like, bet I want to meet her. And so he told the girl, yeah, he want to meet you or whatever. And I think the young lady's story was while they were at the club, that particular man essayed her in the bathroom, but she still managed somehow, got on the plane to fly to go see Diddy. And there, you see pictures of, she has photos with being there with him, sitting on his lap. And I can't remember any details of what she said that may have taken place with him, Diddy directly. But I remember the parts, as far as with her saying she got on the plane and she felt like she had something like in her system, like as though they had given her something, because she just felt kind of funny, but she remembering entering into like a studio. So she was just trying to recant, try the best she could with kind of remembering like what happened. I'm trying to recall the details as well, because I believe this all came out back in earlier this year when the producer guy came out suing him. And child, everybody started talking then. Everybody was talking. Virtuous Woman says, good evening, Chic in class. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Thank you. Have you liked, share, and subscribed? PM said, definitely his freedom on the line up front now. Yes, I hope that, I just hope that they don't try to grant him any type of bail. I hope that child, they treat him just like Young Thug, let him sit there, no matter how long it may take, even if it's years, let him sit there and deal with all of that while he's there, because I don't trust, him being one to not hop on a plane and get the hell on, like, because people was thinking that's what he was doing when his house was being raided. But, clearly that wasn't the case, because it wasn't, they weren't after him. They just kind of, I guess, had the warrant to just search his home. But he has a private plane. So I don't think anyone, if you using common sense, you would put it past him to try to get the hell on, because he got enough money. He was a billionaire before he had to pay out Cassie. So I don't know what his net worth is now. You can probably easily figure that out. Let me see what they got his net worth listed at now, because I know it went down since these lawsuits. See what it says his net worth is. Right now it's showing at 800 million. So here's the thing. My thing is like, so if he is found guilty of these charges and things like that, what happens with the money? Like, is that still his money that he has? Do the government figure out a way to take that money? Like, what happens with that? What happens to say if he is found guilty and he has to do time with his money? Can his children automatically gain access to it? Or is it just, do the government find some type of way to say, no, you wrongfully got this money? Because I think even still with all that we're hearing about him, it's really nothing pertaining to me to things that impacts with him getting his money in a illegal way or in a questionable way. I don't know. To me, I don't see how whatever we're hearing would give justification for, I guess, the feds or whatever for them to just keep his money. I don't know. He's been acting in an unethical way, clearly breaking laws, but I don't see why that would play a part in them trying to take his money. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that, but I can see why his, things would kind of be froze right now, because they got to sift through and, finish investigating to see if there is reason to question where his money has come from. So, child, it's a lot. It is a lot. PM says, yes, the men would have been easy going. Yes, they was like, no, we're going to just have the ladies. Like, it's crazy. I just peeped that it was just all women names. I'm like, wow. They was like, shit, F that. Y'all men be playing games. We ain't got time. They called it, these ladies were a part of the Civil Rights Unit. The Civil Rights Unit. Let me see. They said it's a new unit. Let me see if I can find anything online for that group. Okay, civil rights. So when I put in the Civil Rights Unit, let me show you what I came up with. It says the Civil Rights Units the Civil Rights Unit in the Criminal Division and Civil Divisions welcome information from the public that brings to our attention possible violations of our nation's civil rights laws. You may also call and leave a message or civil rights complaint line. So I wonder if this is that phone number that he was rambling off, because y'all, he did read out a number that you can call if you do have any information pertaining to the investigation. But yes, it's a lot. Let me jump over to, I want to share, because I did come across the indictment documents and the paperwork, child, the paperwork. I did come across that. Let me take this off the screen. Wendy G. Hey, Wendy, if you're still in here, hello. So these are the indictment documents, but we really don't have to go through it really in detail, because really the U.S. attorney was going through, he basically went through everything, because I had, earlier was reading through this indictment, and that U.S. attorney pretty much was going through and just saying everything that we needed to hear. So he pretty much told us everything, but it is, the documents are, just on the internet. You can just Google P. Diddy indictment documents and you'll see it. P. Diddy indictment document PDF, and you'll see, find this document. So it's easy search, free. You don't have to pay for it. But child, listen, what got me is all the names, the aliases that they got listed, because they like, child, no matter what name he go by, if he did it while he was being called Sean Combs, these charges are slapped on him. if he did anything while he was called P. Diddy, these charges are slapped on him. Any name that he went by, they was like, listen, these charges and things go back 16 years. So any name that he has gone by, these charges follow. These charges follow. So they have all the names, y'all, referenced in this indictment. Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, PD. Child, they even got Love. Y'all remember when he wanted y'all to call him Brother? Look, I said y'all. Y'all remember he wanted y'all to call him Brother Love? But that lasted when nobody hopped on that bandwagon. He just acted like that was a joke because nobody was serious about calling that man Brother Love. He did name his new beautiful baby Love. Okay, we call that's Love, but child, nobody was here for calling him Brother Love, but they even slapped Love in the document. So if you did any foolishness underneath that name, this it's covered too. Because remember that producer said when his suit came about because his album, I think Diddy's last album was called Love or the Love album or something like that. And was that the Little J guy? He was saying he produced songs on that. And P. Diddy didn't pay him. So that is what prompted him to just start talking, y'all, and just singing like a bird because he didn't get his money. Y'all know how I go when people don't get their money. Listen, everything else, any loyalty, everything thrown out the window when you play with people and their money. So when that man didn't get his money, he was like, oh, okay, well, I got you. Y'all, he pulled a Fifi number on him. He did the receipts. He was like, oh, Fifi, you queen of receipts. I'm king of receipts. He started pulling out pictures because he was like, hell, Diddy always liked to have everything on camera. So I got all of that because I was the one capturing stuff. So he was like, oh, okay, you cannot pay me if you want to. I bet you that's somebody P. Diddy wish he had paid. I bet you he wish he had paid him. Just like I bet you he wish he would have taken care of Cassie long before November because he just was calling people bluff. He wasn't thinking that people was going to go against him because for so long, people did not go against him. They were afraid, but this is a new day. This is a new day. Cassie wasn't afraid. The producer, Lil J, whatever his name was, he wasn't afraid. The young lady last week from the Dirty Money who came out suing him, she wasn't afraid. Like people aren't afraid of him anymore, which is great. But it's been a long time coming for people to get to a point to say, you know what? I'm ready now. I'm ready now. And as that U.S. attorney say, what he say, don't get stuck on, well, why it took so long. Just get stuck. Just focus on the fact that the time is here, that people are reacting now. It's like, yeah, we can't go back. We can't change the past, but yeah, we just focus on the here and the now and where we trying to go. And that is what this U.S. attorney wants us to focus on. Akaro says, hey, she trafficking is disgusting. I'm so glad he got caught. I feel like it's just the masses. Most people are glad he's gotten caught. I haven't heard any celebrities or anybody coming out or anybody speaking up in favor of him. So it's been crickets. I'm wondering if anybody's going to come out showing support, speaking favorably of him. That's the part I want to see. PM says, oh, I think the statute had exceeded the time frame. Yes, a lot of stuff that he's done. I know when it came to that hotel incident, the statute had exceeded the time frame. But I think when you're dealing with, there's crimes, I think, against minors. I don't know if there's a statute with that, how that works, but there are some things, some charges and things that are thrown his way to where they like, we can handle you because what I picked up from this U.S. attorney is that he been doing the absolute most, literally all the way up until they picked him up. Like it wasn't no hard stop. Like, oh, it was from, 2014 to 2020. No, that man was like, listen, no, it seemed like all the way up until we picked him up, there's just been unlawful behaviors taking place. He's been doing the most. Which is why we're still investigating to see if there's even more charges that we can hit him with. So Lil Rod, thank you for that. PM, you said Lil Rod. So yeah, Lil Rod, listen, Lil Rod came through with them receipts. He was on that Fifi. He had that Fifi, that Judge Fifi energy. He came through, child, with the receipts. He came through, Judge Fifi. If you don't know who she is, her YouTube channel is Judge Queen. Was that Queen of Receipts, Judge Fifi? Look her up, follow her. She is the queen of receipts. Lil Rod, like, listen, don't sleep on me either. I'm the king of receipts. He didn't run me my coin as he promised, as we agreed. So listen, I got to get to talking in. I got to get to talking. Shelly says that trial seemed like it's been going on forever. Yes, trial. I'll be jumping in and out like it. I'm doing double dutch where I'll watch it, then I hop out, stop watching it. It's just been going so long. Like, even like our family orthodontist, or the doctor, he has his own practice, where, my family, myself and my children, where we went to get our braces, and he was selected, you all, to be on that jury. Child, that man would have messed around and not had a practice no more if he was still on that doggone jury with the way it's going down. And he was held up with that, playing around with that jury selection process for like 3 weeks, because it kept interfering with my husband's appointments, because he was every day, when you're on jury duty, you got to report, you call the number, you got to learn if you got to show up. And this went on for like 3 weeks. Finally, the doctor got some legitimate reason, because the judge, it wasn't good enough for him to it wasn't good enough for him to, to say, oh, I got to practice. I have my practice, judge. I got work. I got to go back. Judge was like, so what? I don't care. He had to get his doctor involved, because he had an attorney involved, and the judge was like, whatever. That man had to get a doctor involved in order for them to release him. And I'm pretty sure he probably was like, listen, my mental health is impacted. Next thing you know, Doc was back at work, but he had to play catch up with his practice, with his appointments, because he's the only doctor there, it's his practice. So it was like no other, orthodontist, you had your little medical assistants or whatever you call the assistants. But yeah, I was thinking like, damn, if he was still on that case, them doors would be closed to that business, because ain't no damn way. Like, how would he be able to, make money and keep the business going? So I just found that just crazy how, someone, that, in my life that I knew personally, that I did business with, was caught up with that trial. And he was saying, at that time, listen, he wasn't telling me, it was his receptionist at the front desk telling me the tea. He was like, even when he was there on that trial, the whole time he was seated in a room, and they would just bring, evidence. They would just bring evidence in there for them to review. So even at that time, when he was going through all that, I think that was just still even the parts for just trying to narrow down and do a selection. I'm thinking, I don't know, because at that time when he was, caught up with it, they hadn't started like deliberating, but he was having to show up. So I don't even know if he was a solid for sure juror, or if it was still just even going through the motions with them trying to narrow down who the jurors was going to be. But child, this whole man livelihood was impacted. And I know for a fact, like, it would have impacted his business, because ain't no way you can hold down your own business and be held up with that trial like that. It's still going on. And from what I heard, it's projected to go on through 2026, because it's like hundreds of witnesses. Child, hell, they had little Woody up there all damn summer, it felt like. They just got his ass off the stage, and they still off the stand. And they still got plenty of other people to talk to. So yes. So listen, if Puffy got to go through some shit like that, and if Young Thug had to sit through all that shit and still be there and the world's longest, because right now the Young Thug trial is on record as being the longest trial in the state of Georgia. So it's the longest, and I think it's the longest. It either beat out I don't know if you all remember years ago when the Atlanta school system. It was a big scandal with the testing, where teachers were finagling the score, the answers on the standardized tests for the students in the Atlanta and the Fulton County Atlanta public school system. So that was like a big scandal, like some years ago. That probably had to be, I don't know, maybe close about 10 years ago. But at that time, that was like the biggest, case that we had here in Georgia. The biggest, I think, most expensive. But I think they said this YSL trial situation beat that out and then superseded that when it comes to like the length of the trial, the cost and all of that. So this YSL trial is definitely making history in many ways. So definitely be one to talk about in the future with people. Hey, Rhoda. Hey, welcome. GPM said Jay-Z, y'all, he been quiet since Cassie came out talking last year. I haven't seen no moments or nothing with Jay-Z being by Diddy's side. I ain't seen nothing. Like Jay-Z been real quiet. What they say, quiet as a church mouse. He ain't saying not a dang thing. He ain't saying nothing. Y'all think he gonna be up there at the courthouse showing support, sitting in the stands, listening? Who y'all think gonna be there showing the support other than his mama and his kids? Like, who's going to be there? Y'all think Mary J. Blige gonna be there supporting him while he going through all that? Y'all think Mary gonna be there because she about the only one associated with Bad Boy outside of him that's making money? Because anybody else who had a deal with Bad Boy, they not really making no money. As you know, that label had a Puffy to me, or P. Diddy had this reputation of like when you sign with him, like your career wasn't gonna be going nowhere. Because think about it, think about all the great artists that was once signed with him. And like where are they at now? Like they're not doing anything. And if they are, it's not affiliated with him or his label. It's crazy because it was so many. He definitely put on so many talented artists. He put on a lot of talented artists, and unfortunately, nothing happened with their careers. They didn't have longevity. Let me say that. They had things happen in their career, but they didn't have the longevity that they could have. I feel like they could have had they been signed with damn near hell any damn body else. They probably would have had more longevity in their career if they would out the gate was just independent, child. Because a lot of these artists' careers didn't go anywhere. But I would say Mary J. Blige and Faith were probably like the two longer running artists under that label. And I don't even know if Faith is still affiliated with that label. Mary, we still see her put out music, and I don't know, it's given. I feel like, I've seen her be around him. I feel like she still has business ties to him as it pertains to her career. Not quite sure, but she's been out there, making money and still working. So y'all think she gonna be there to show him some support? Who y'all think gonna be there showing that man some support outside of his doggone kids? Because they need to eat, so they gonna have to be there because daddy got all the money. Rhoda says, I heard they picked him up early because he threatened a witness, so they got that minutes off the streets. Yes, I'm hearing that the lady Dawn from the group Dirty Money was the person who he was placing those calls to, and I guess making those threats. So yes, word on the curb is that's who it was. It was Dawn. And remember, she just a week ago, because I covered it on this channel. If you haven't watched that video, check that out. But Dawn hit him with a lawsuit for SA charges, all kinds of stuff. So she joined the club. Hey, Laura. Hello. Laura says that kind of money can make people disappear. When you know. Virtuous says, if you haven't already, hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Thank you for that. Yes, please like, share, and subscribe. Welcome. We're just talking about some things. Rhoda says, no, he has sex tapes he blackmailed her with in the beginning. That's why she didn't leave in the beginning. So yeah, you're talking about with Cassie. But even, have you all heard Cassie talk about how she even got with him? She had a boyfriend when she met him. But he basically, now this was before the start of that sex tape. He was just like, okay, well, I'll forget him. I'm about to be your boyfriend. You finna be with me, because if you basically want a career or whatever, this is the way it got to go. That also came out too with how they got together. Y'all remember there was that one guy, was that Cuddy? It was that Kid Cuddy, somebody whose car was blown up. So that was someone, I think, but that wasn't that guy. She was another guy she was dating first, where he basically took her from him. But she went along with it because he used, her career, her wanting to be just this singer and stuff. He held that over her head and was like, basically, like, you either gonna be my girl, or and had his career, or no, but you need to be with me. And that's kind of how she ended up, she says, getting into a relationship with him. So yes, she probably stuck along as long as she did because of those tapes. But the way they even got together was just crazy, with the fact that, like, can y'all imagine meeting somebody and they outright just telling you about to be with me, you in a whole relationship with somebody, bump them, forget that, you're mine's now, effective today. Like, what the like, but the way she told the story, and I think that all came out like around during that lawsuit or around that time. I'm not quite sure if it was in that write-up or where I learned that, but right around the time when everything was unfolding with the lawsuit, that's when I heard that, when she talked about how they got together. And I learned like how she had a boyfriend, like, already, like, when he met her, like, she legit had a boyfriend. He was like, oh, well, that's done, you're now mine. It's like, damn. I just can't imagine somebody just, getting into a relationship with someone that way, where they're outright telling me like, yo, you're mine, effective like now. Laura says, money may increase people's tolerance for BS, be it relationships or a job one may not like, but the money is good. I agree, Laura. Like, a lot of times, think about it, or even with you in certain situations you've been in where you be like, man, I don't like this job, but the money, the money is good, and you just deal because it's like, okay, well, the money is good. So you just suck it up. What they say, suck it up, buttercup. Sometimes you're willing to, be stressed, stressed to a certain level because the money is right. So yes, money will have people do jobs and do things that they really don't want to do, or they ordinarily wouldn't do. But it's the money, the lifestyle, the glamour, the attention, just everything, being able to move and run in certain circles, like all of that. Like, a lot of times people get blinded by stuff like that. Hey, Amanda, welcome. How you doing? Laura says, and if they cannot find things that stick, they will find tax evasion. That takes many down. Okay. So that's where, okay. So I was wondering, with the money, what else they can come up. So listen, Laura, you be talking about the damn taxes. Laura be like, listen, you pay your taxes. Oh, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because he worth $8 million. 800, add some more zeros on that number. He worth $800 million. So I'm just curious to see, how his finances are going to be dealt with all of this, because he still does have these children, and none of them seem to have careers that's just popping, that make you see that they're making money on their own. The son, Quincy, with Kim Porter, and I'll Be Sure, he does his little acting and drops some music here and there. So he get a little change that come in and there, but I don't feel enough to have him living like the quality of life that he probably lives now off of his stepdad's money. The twins, they're just seniors in high school. They should have birthdays coming up this year. I believe their birthday is in December. They'll be turning 18, because their other sister, Chance, I learned during this research of this story, she turned 18 in June. So remember, he has the 3 girls. Remember, he got what they call, I don't know if you call them ghetto triplets, since it's 3 of them instead of 2, because they would normally call them ghetto twins when 2 women birth children by the same man in 1 year. So here in Georgia, in the South, what I heard, they call them ghetto twins or ghetto triplets. But basically, he had 2 women pregnant at the same time, and both women gave birth to children the same year. So Chance is now 18. And then the twins will be 18. I believe their birthday is in December. So the twins are seniors in high school. So I figure, Chance, I'm assuming Chance is also a senior in high school as well. Not quite sure. I don't know if Chance might have graduated high school this year. I think she might have graduated this past school year, but the twins are still in high school. They're in their senior year. So listen, child, y'all know them twins, they stay fitted. So that costs. If y'all ever seen their Instagram, I was looking at their Instagram last night, and those girls look very expensive. So yes, they live great lifestyles off of daddy's money. So without daddy's money, and then unfortunately, mommy, may she rest in peace, is no longer here. So daddy's money is what's supporting them and allowing for them to just live that high quality life. And so without that money, then it's like, where does that leave them? What happens with the kids without that money when they've been accustomed to a certain lifestyle? Are they expected to go out and just get jobs? Like what? Because the girls, I don't know if they do I think they may dip and dab in some modeling, but they ain't no supermodels or nothing like that. But the girls, they're about to be adults soon. So it's like, will they now have to start thinking about, okay, what type of lives are they going to make for themselves as grown adult young women? Laura says, catching the dryer on fire. Amanda says, oh, Chic, it's about me time. When it's first come about, I watched so much content on him. He is the one sick individual. He makes Prune look like a saint. And that's saying something. Exactly. Like he's a lot. Like he is exhausted. Listen, you see, I got they chat that both of their energies on two different channels. Child, I'd be a lot on one channel. But yes, he's a lot. I just been looking forward for this day to come where he finally has gotten dealt with, because I'm tired of hearing all these people complain about him and nothing happens. And yes, like to me, well, the difference between him and Prune is just annoying. So she ain't really doing too much where she's breaking no laws per se. This one right here his stuff is on a whole nother tip. But the moral of the story where we can see similarities is that it comes down to a person's character, regardless of what their bank account look like. Because as they say, a person, whoever you are when you don't have money, you're still that same person when you have money. It's just magnified. So if you were a really good person when you didn't have money, you're going to still be a really good person when you have money. If you're not a good person and you're broke, you're not going to be a good person when you have riches. So I truly believe in that. So I think, it just comes down to both of them when it comes to just from a moral compass. They're just very off-putting, and people as a collective aren't here for them, but they both have really big followings. So sometimes, regardless of what your character is, like people will just follow you because they want to live vicariously through you. And it'd be just that, like nothing more. They just want what you have. Amanda says, I missed it. What's the 1,000 bottles of baby oil? That was in the indictment. That's what they found. Remember when they raided his houses in Florida? Or I don't know if you knew, but earlier this year, I think it was in February, earlier this year, they raided his home in Florida and his home in Los Angeles. Simultaneously, child, they had both of them raids taking place. They had it like lined up. So I guess one place couldn't call and warn the other place. So he had a raid on both of his homes simultaneously. And during the raid, they said they found over 1,000 bottles of baby oil. So the baby oil was presumed to be used during the freak-off sessions that he would have when he would have those sessions in hotels. So they found baby oil, and then they found lube. So those are things, when he'd have the freak-off sessions, things that he'd use at that time. Why not just you? Like, child, I don't know, Amanda. We don't know why he not just using lube. Because we like, damn, 1,000. It was over 1,000 bottles, but they said he had lube and baby oil. The only thing I'm thinking about as far as probably with the baby oil can go all over the body. Lube, typically, that's people's using that for, certain parts of the body, but baby oil can go all over. So maybe when it came to the baby oil, it was just it been an experience with just using it for the entire body during the experience or whatever, for whatever the hell they was doing. I just know as a kid, when I grew up using baby oil, I used it. It was like something being used in place of lotion. Or sometimes I'd mix it with the lotion and the baby oil, and it'd give like a shine. to the body. So me and my sister's child, we black child. So we were raised with using baby oil, lotion, things like that. Child, listen, when you black, ash is not an option. We grow up being told, to handle that ash. So it helped with just keeping, having the skin to stay lubricated, moisturized. So that's my only thing is maybe with the baby oil, it was just about just the experience of just putting something oily all over the body. Also, who knows? They may have found the baby oil to be cheaper and to last better. Maybe some people preferred baby oil over say lubricant, so they had options of child which one you want. So child, when it comes to somebody like him, I don't know if any of us could really truly get in his mind to understand what the hell was going on with these ideas and things that he had. Amanda says, so many rappers, actors, singers have lost their dignity in life at the hands of him and the Illuminati, etc. I agree. And I just hope that even though he's just one person, because there's still many of them out there, he's just the one who's caught now. I believe, and it is my hope and my prayer that others will be brought down to not long after him. I hope that he will start sharing names for other people, because as they said during the press conference, the U.S. attorney says he didn't do this by himself. He had help. He had people who enabled him. And that's the thing we talk about even on another channel with Prune, like enablers. Enablers, that does nothing for someone. Like it just pretty much just makes a person who just got issues even worse when you got people just enabling them, because they're not being required to step their game up and to do better, to be better. Like they're not required because people enable them and they just go along with whatever it is that they're giving. And that really at the end of the day is not beneficial to a person who's not living right, who's not doing right. And he had a lot of people in his life enabling him. And much of it was rooted from finances, because he had all the money. Most of the people in his circle he was running around with didn't have bank accounts bigger than his. There's probably very few who we can name who's had accounts bigger than his. But for the most part, people we would see him with, they didn't have bank accounts that looked like his. They were people who wanted to have him put them on. So, okay, he's like, bet, okay, if you want me to put you on, I'm gonna need this from you. I'm gonna need you to do this. And, sometimes, what they say, sometimes people get so desperate and then they just see dollar signs. They like, okay, fine. Okay, whatever. Because even Lil Rod, he was saying like, there was things that he was doing that he didn't really feel cool with doing, but he was still doing it because he was banking on, okay, getting some money, getting paid for his work. He was able to run around in the circle with Diddy, and he still ended up not coming out on top, in a way of which he thought he was. Now he may, come out on top just because, okay, he's suing him now. And now Diddy's business is all across the internet. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's looking like, he's one to get a last laugh. But at the time, look what he was willing to put himself through for a dime or a dollar. So many people do it every day. Every day. Laura says these men really hate women. That's what it comes off as. So like, you really because you can't be loving women and doing activities like this. No. Like, what's the deal? I've heard people talk about just when it comes to, his relationship with his mom, it doesn't seem like a very healthy type relationship that he has with his mom. So even just from a therapeutic or a psychoanalytical, standpoint, as I think about him and his behaviors, I can't help but to wonder, what was it like growing up in the home with his mom? What type of inappropriate things did he see or was he exposed to as it pertains to women that had him to view women as like objects? Because that's what it seems like. He views women as like objects. So it's like, well, I got $1 billion, so I can just buy a woman and get her to do these things and then get her accustomed to a certain lifestyle. And then, and even if she does want to leave, I have the power to where I feel like I can just do whatever I want onto her to force her to stay. Like, it's just so crazy to where it just someone who just got extensive knowledge and just just in the psyche of a person, of a sociopath. Like they would really have to try to really go deep and to try to analyze him to understand what it is we've been seeing play out over the years, especially after what Cassie revealed in those documents in her lawsuit. It's just like we saw we were dealing with a sick, very sick individual. PM said he has probably allotted that money to those kids and stuff. He's had time to set that up. Right. But I guess, the feds can still, if they see that you've moved money around and put it in different names, and they can still kind of follow a paper trail and still kind of block some things or put a hold on some things. So y'all know when you're dealing with the government, they can do whatever they want. So if they want to stop it, they can. Who knows? Who knows? But yes, I do. I just can't help but to wonder, from what the future looks like for his children, from a financial standpoint. The baby, I would say probably of them all, the baby girl Love is probably the one that are probably, she's probably, if he gets locked up, child, the baby Love ain't gonna have no memory of that man unless her mama taking her to the penal system to go see him. But otherwise, she's not going to have memories because she's so small. But I think of all the kids, because she didn't grow up with a certain type of lifestyle, because she's still little, she's like 2. She's not technically like accustomed to something from like something that she's going to remember. So I think for her, it would be the easier transition for her as far as her lifestyle with living what looks to be like more of a normal type lifestyle versus the other kids who have spent like all their childhood with like the gold spoon in their mouth and just having anything that they want in life whenever. Like that's going to be tough to now have to now no longer have that type of access to just resources, to say not even be able to get invited to certain types of parties and events and things, because he's their father. I feel like it's going to impact the quality, or it probably has already impacted their social lives, being invited to certain events because they know, okay, wow, P. Diddy's your daddy, he's sick. Say for the girls, some of maybe the friends that they have, their parents may wanted their kids to kind of take a step back from the relationship that they had with them, or maybe sometimes kids would go over and hang out at their houses, and now the parents are like, oh hell no. I know me as a responsible parent, if I learned that some stuff like that was popping off with my kids friends' parents over at their house, and I know my kids like normally would go over there. Oh no, we not going over there no more. Like we're just cutting ties. We're cutting ties even to the point to where I'm like, yeah, we're not gonna have them come over either. Like we just need to cut this because there's a lot going on. I think I would just be the parent to just be like, let's just create some boundaries. When y'all go to school, y'all can talk with each other at school. I can't control that, but outside of school, no, you're not going over there, and we're not having them come over here too, because we don't need the parents that have no reason to be coming up over here because they ain't living right over there. They're not living right over there. And if you already know the adults aren't living right over there, you cannot skirt over the thoughts of what the children have been exposed to over there. So remember, if these are your kids' friends, and you learn that the friends, mama and daddy ain't living right over there in the household that the kids are in, as a responsible parent, you have to think or wonder, okay, what is this child being exposed to? And whatever it is that they are being exposed to, what type of influence will they have on my child? When they say you better know who your kids roll with, you better know, what kind of friends they got, what kind of homes they come from. Child, it runs deep. Hey, Jen, she said he has a RICO charge, possibly why his funds are being questioned. Yes, that is one of the charges I wrote down. RICO, they said racketeer. He got a lot popping off. Out of $800 million. What do you all think he's going to have by the time it's all said and done? Do you all feel like he will have any of that money left over? Questions. Amanda says, one word, Justin, he got used the most by both fiddler females and males in the industry. I blame the parents for allowing parental responsibility of their minor with complete strangers. I agree. Y'all remember the story with Usher. Usher is a local artist here, in Georgia where I live. I live in a state where there's a lot of, famous, celebrities that live here, especially like artists, musicians. But remember, Usher was someone to where who parents allowed for him as a minor to go live with Puffy. And somebody asked him in an interview, I don't know if it was Howard, it might have been Howard Stern, asked him, would he ever allow his children to go to the Puffy camp or whatever they call it? And he was like, hell no. But, his mom let him go. And then Justin Bieber's mom sent him off too, because Usher is the one who introduced Justin Bieber to Puffy. So there's famous people who got a lot of money today who was left alone under the care of this man who we see was not responsible and did not act ethically. And now it's like all this stuff is unfolding. But much of this is we've been hearing talks of this for years. It's just that now a lot of these things that we've been, having these, these water cooler conversations about, we're now hearing, it's like we're getting the proof that it does exist. Like, oh, child, we weren't crazy. We weren't conspiracy theorists. Like, this stuff is coming out that it was really happening. It is really happening. And it's far worse, I think, than any of us could have ever thought. Child, I don't think any of us would ever thought that that food was having had over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and they was being used at freak offs. Who thought about that? First, who show me somebody who, before Cassie mentioned freak offs in them documents, had in mind, oh, I wonder if he's somewhere having a freak off with using bottles of baby oil. No, this is the stuff you can't make up. This is that creative type stuff that you have to just put into movies. Ain't nobody sitting around thinking about somebody having over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and then excess amount of lubricants for a freak off. What? No, like, this is crazy. So this goes beyond the thoughts that any of us could have come up with. Like, I'm just saying, hey, let's do a thumbs up check. Have you all hit the thumbs up? Please hit the thumbs up for me. Thank you. Thank you. I welcome you, each and every one of you, for being over here with me tonight as we talk about this Diddy thing and this whole indictment situation, child, because it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I'm trying to touch on as much as I can remember, because I was taking notes as the U.S. attorney for the New York was speaking, and it's just so many layers to it. And Jen, just reminded me about the RICO charge, as I was wondering how his finances were going to get impacted. So it's just a lot. And I'm just trying to just keep up with it, y'all. Jen says, I could not believe some of the stuff I read. Like, we're all in dismay. Like, I'm glad, the U.S. attorney kind of went through it and outright said the things that is in the documents. You can find the, if you want to read it in detail, the indictment, if you want to read it in detail, it is online. I didn't feel like we really needed to just stop and read it, because really the U.S. attorney said everything that was, said in it. He just kind of said high level, like even down to the 1,000+ bottles of baby oil, y'all, that's an indictment too. So he touched on everything. Just without just sitting up there reading it. He just touched on it. So we don't even really have to read it. But if you do want to find it, it's just a simple Google search with just typing in the P. Diddy indictment PDF, and it's going to come up if you just want to see it. I did bring it up, on the screen and skim through it, but we didn't just go through it like word by word, because I think it was necessary because we watched the press conference. Jen says P. Diddy, Puffy, Brother Love. Listen, all the names, whoever the hell they like, whoever the hell you was when you was doing the absolute most, you getting this charge too. You getting it too. We don't care what name, what alias you's going to buy. Amanda said he makes R. Kelly look like a saint. Child, like, and they keep saying, this is just so like there's so many comparisons between the two cases, and y'all know how the R. Kelly case went. But yes, he does. This is far worse than the R. Kelly one. I think, the only thing that we see that's different, that was heavy talk with the R. Kelly one, is just him dealing with minors, like in Like that was just his thing with R. Kelly. R. Kelly just loved just dealing with these minors. Whereas with Puffy, we don't really hear a lot of talk centered around. If he does, he may still, deal with the minors, but that's not what's like the heavy conversation when we talk about him. It's more so in regards to his treatment of just people, adults, people that he just encounter. And it hadn't really been focused on an age, not really any heavy talks like centered around like children. But I'm not going to say that he's not fooling with kids. I'm just saying that hasn't been like the conversation surrounding him. So who knows with what's going to come about with the investigation, the ongoing investigation, if we will hear more talks of children, because I only can think of just the one, like I said, where the young lady said she was like 16 and she remembered being put on a plane and flown over to see him in another state, and they were at a studio and she said she was 16. So that's just like the only one case that I've heard of pertaining to like him being with a minor and inappropriate activity. But child, there could very likely, be other cases that I'm just not aware of that may eventually come out. But yes, it's just too many similarities, Child, it's a lot. It is a lot. Jen said they had the videos. Yes. Now that let's talk about that. Like they didn't really go into detail as far as with tapes, but they referenced tapes. So I really feel like the way they were speaking as they were talking about the inappropriate things that he's participated in, to me, I feel like they were speaking as though they seen for a fact, like from tapes or things like that. And that's what they use to strengthen their case. Because to me, that man, the way that man was talking, and that U.S. Attorney, he was talking like they got the evidence. But y'all know how the feds roll. The feds ain't rolling up on you unless they have an airtight case. That's just how anybody when the feds come into place, y'all, it's a different type of energy versus like state. It be on some other stuff, y'all, when it's feds. When it's feds, it's just like, oh, snap, like they got me, they got him. Versus like if it's state. So I feel like everything that man was talking on, he was speaking from a place of, we know for certain because we saw it. He just wasn't disclosing why he was certain of what he was saying, like the details of it. So, child, we all gonna be here for this trial. You see someone show concern because they compared him to, I think, the Harvey, was it Harvey, or the Epstein guy, was that his name? And he ended up dying while he was in custody, allegedly committing suicide. So they're like, okay, what y'all gonna do with this case? Because we're not trying to hear that something happened to him while he's in y'all care, y'all custody. Like, that's not what we're trying to hear. So listen, we want to let y'all know the powers that be that we watching, and y'all bet not let this go down the way it went down with that white man, because he wasn't even prosecuted. Nothing happened with him because they said, he offed himself. Why they weren't watching him, I don't know. That whole story just sounds shaky to me with how it went down with him. Just sound real shaky. So that reporter let this U.S. attorney know that, listen, we watching closely, and we not going to be here for y'all saying something popped off with P. Diddy or whatever that has him to no longer be with us and to be able to stand up in trial. We not hearing that. We not hearing that. So we got our eye on you, sir. Amanda says, what I find most disturbing about the whole situation is he groomed his own sons to be just like him and follow in his footsteps to probably get minor around him to drug and grape them. Yeah, he sure have. I mean, that's why I say, as I talk about like with, the children and them having friends, and like in particular the girls, because they were still like minors, them having friends and maybe their parents now not wanting their children to be associated with the Diddy children, as far as the girls who were still like, under 18 at the time when everything was kind of going down, is because of the influence. Just as you said, Amanda, it's the influence. And as a responsible parent, if you know something is inappropriately taking place with somebody, with an adult, or even if it's another minor, and you're aware of it, it's one thing you don't know, but when you're aware, you're not going to be here for your child having anything to do with those people. Like, you're gonna be like, no, you can't go over there. So, behaviors are learned, whether it's learned in the household from the parents, whether it's learned by being around just, from your peers, bad influences. That's why, it makes a difference on, what type of people, what type of company are you keeping? What they say, birds of a feather flock together. What type of company are you keeping? And these boys, they spend a lot of time with their father. And I believe that's by design. I believe that he purposely wants them to be very close to him, because I don't think he has a lot of people, P. Diddy have a lot of people in his life who genuinely rock with him like that. And I think he knows that. He knows that people only come around for his resources. And I think that has him to feel a certain way. So he tries to, have his children near, because to him, he feel like, okay, well, they're the only ones who truly love or care for me, because everybody else only around me because of what I got or what I can do for them. Like, I really believe that he believes that's why people are around him. And I think that's why they hell around him too, because he doesn't give, oh, this somebody I just want to hang with and kick it with. No, he doesn't give that at all. He gives, damn, I really don't feel like going over there to his damn house, but I do need this, and that from him. So let me just go on ahead and go and fall, go through real quick, and maybe try to, kick it for a minute and just have a reason, find a reason to leave. He just gives me that type of person where people just be trying to come up with reasons, like in advance on why they got to leave, or they stage, okay, I need you to call me at 10 o'clock. Call me. Therefore, I can be like, yo, I got to roll out. My mama just called. She said her stomach hurt. Now I got to go check on her, because he just gives to me as somebody that you don't want to spend like an excess amount of time around. Then also he gives to me somebody where he be on some other stuff, and you not trying to get caught up in none of his stuff. So you don't want to make it obvious that you don't rock with him. You don't want to make it too obvious, because you don't want to upset him. But at the same time, you're trying to look out and make sure you good and you protected, so you ain't caught up in any of his shenanigans, especially given that he likes to have things on the camera. He likes to have things on the camera. So where is the footage? Jen said the videos. Where are the videos? Do you all think that we'll see the videos? Another question, do you all think his trial will be publicly broadcast? Will we see the trial? I don't know how New York rolls if they show trials on TV, because y'all, we can watch the YSL case. From my understanding, a lot of times it's based off of the county, like where you live, what type of rules they have pertaining to cameras being in the court. But do you all believe that Diddy's court situation, his trial, will be televised? And if it is, are you here for it? So that's my thing. I'm wondering, how does New York roll? Because I know when Trump was going through his stuff, they didn't have the cameras in there. So I don't know if this has to do with like the state where New York don't let the cameras in. But too bad, because I think, a lot of these, big court cases that have been taking place lately, many of us would have loved to have seen what was taking place. And I think, to me, it brings some sense of transparency when we're able to go into the courtroom and we're able to see for ourselves if something was taking place in a fair way, versus, having to rely on somebody, a content creator. Nowadays, content creators be going and sitting in courthouses, taking notes. It's probably going to be quite a bit of people probably trying to cover that case, who may go and sit through that trial, people who do content creation full time, and they're able to actually just go and sit in the court, because it's going to be so much information that's going to be coming out, to where if it's not televised, we're not going to ever see it. We're just going to have to rely on people doing the best they can to describe it. And, so it's going to be some information that we're like, damn, we wish we could have seen it. We wish we could have seen it. Y'all, would y'all want to even be on the jury let's talk about just the jury selection, because y'all know they always got to go through this whole thing of, are you familiar with who this person, the selection where they got to do the screening? I've been selected once before for a jury. So a lot of people have never been selected. They've reported to jury duty, but got sent home. I've actually been selected one time. No one else in my family that I know of, ever been selected. So I'm like the only one. And I tell how my experience went. But, so they'll ask these questions. And like, so with P. Diddy being so widely known, how are they going to find somebody who don't know who the hell this man is, and who don't already have an opinion of him, who haven't seen what's been said in the headlines? Like, that's going to be the part right there. That's probably going, because they say it took like a whole year. It took like a year for them to get the jury selection for the YSL trial. I think it was like 1 year for them to do the jury selection for the YSL trial. It was, I think it was a whole year. So what do you guys think? Do you all think it's going to be like crazy with that whole jury selection, with the whole jury selection, with them doing the screening to get a good pool? Also with it, and then also the trial just taking place in New York. Like, it's just gonna be crazy, y'all. Like, we think the YSL case crazy. I think this one gonna take the cake. Amanda says they had under tunnels for the people trafficking. Yes, the man didn't remember. They was asked at the press conference. They was asking questions about specifics about where things was found in the house, and the U.S. attorney didn't want to get into specifics. He talked about the guns and said, oh, they were found in a bedroom, but he didn't want to talk about nothing else. My mind went to the tunnels, because I had heard there were tunnels. If there was evidence that was taken from the tunnels. Child, I think for the first time, y'all, as I was listening to this man talk, I'm like, man, I think I wouldn't mind being a part and being in the, working for the system, as far as being a part of like the investigation, that civil rights unit where they had all the women coming for him. How many of y'all ladies wouldn't have mind being a part of that unit where you were tasked to be, trying to do your, investigate and to get evidence to bring this man down? I think for the first time in life, for 5 seconds, I entertained the idea of being in law enforcement in some type of capacity, just to be able to assist with bringing down someone like this, because it was just a matter of time where him getting brought down. And I just only hoped and prayed that it took place, child, in my lifetime. And I'm only 43 years old. But the fact that it was going so slow, I'm like, damn. Like, I've heard so many other people with far less charges against him, allegations and all of that, get accused, get convicted, get sentenced, like come out like all faster than what we've been seeing with him. And it just had me to think like, damn, do money really talk? But listen, U.S. attorney said, listen, don't worry about how long it took. Just worry about the fact that we are here today. We're here today. Amanda saying Clive Davis, hell, from what I'd heard allegedly, I've heard talks about Clive Davis being someone who groomed him. Yes, I've heard about him allegedly being someone who has groomed Puffy into who he is today. Yes. So listen, he's definitely high up. I feel like if he really cared like that, he could have pulled strings to have him to still be a protected person in the industry. But Puffy Days, at this point, the higher ups, the powers that be, are like, we sick of you. We tired of you. So we're done. We've gotten all that we need to get out of you. We're moving on to the next. We got younger people now that are coming up that we can groom into greatness, and so yeah, we no longer need you. So yeah, I just think that the higher ups are now, they no longer see value in him anymore. So they don't care what happens with him. They don't care. Jen said the feds have him. He's staying put. He need to stay put. So yes, we hope that he stays put. Jen Major says Young Thug's case is sad. It is. It's sad. I think that hell, whatever the way it's going down, I think they should have just let him just go on home and just do house arrest until all of this end, because it's going so long. And what they say, everybody got a right to a speedy, fair trial. This ain't nothing speedy. It ain't nothing speedy about this. But yes, it's a bad. I personally feel from the parts that I followed, I don't feel like the state has a strong enough case to convict him the way they want to. I think really at the end of the day, he probably gonna be able to just get off with just time served, because at the end, by the time it's all said and done, he would have been gone for about like 3 years. But I'm not hearing anything that's coming out in it that has me to believe that they got him to be able to send him away for a very long time. But what I do hope is that if he's managed to be able to beat these charges, that he come out and he moves differently. He just turns his entire life around. Hell, child, he had already morphed physically into a whole nother being. Child, he don't even look the same. He about 4 times the size of what he was when he went in. Y'all know he ain't fitting none of them skinny jeans that he was fitting when he last did his music videos before he went up in that place. Because when I say that man is thick with it, he is thick with it. He's thick with it. But when he went up in there, he was looking like Doja Cat. He was like Doja Cat size. Now he's listless. He thick with it. He up there closer to Lizzo now. He went from Doja Cat to Lizzo. So he has literally transformed. I just hope that if he's able to beat these charges, he changes his life, and he just, he's on the up and up from here on out. That's all I say, because to me, if he's able to beat that, to me, I don't see how he cannot look at that as God's sign to say, okay, I'm not done working on you. I need you to, do great things. I need you to do better. I need you to do better. Jen says one of the jurors was evicted. Lord, because of what, they couldn't pay their bills. Oh my God. I be wondering, like, I have been wondering with this long trial, like, damn, what's the deal with people's jobs? Because do the job have to hold your job forever and still pay you the same amount of salary? And I believe jury duty only pays $25 a day, at least here in Georgia. I think when I was doing, I think it was like only like $25 a day. But I was, as far as my time away from work, when I was away, I was able to still get paid. But I think I was only, my whole experience was like a week. Like when I say a week, Monday through Friday was the experience when I experienced it. So it wasn't nothing really deep, but it was an inconvenience because at the time, I was in a process with closing on a new house and all that. And, it's just a lot of moving parts with that, and then having children. So it was just, the timing was just like the worst to have to be caught up in jury duty, especially when you dealing with, the time of like with the purchase of a house and having to have these dates and have to show up places and meet inspectors. Child, was a lot. It was a lot. So I definitely remember that time of my life when I, experienced jury duty and being selected as a juror. It was very interesting, but it's nothing that I wish for someone to do if that's not what you want to do, because it literally kind of halts your life. Fortunately, mine was one of the best case scenarios based on the length of time it took and like the type of trial it was. It wasn't nothing like real deep. But something like the YSL, like, no, I would not want to be on that trial, or even this P. Diddy one. I'd want to know the details and things, but hell, you can get that by just showing up and sitting in the, sitting and watching. I wouldn't want to be on the jury because, child, it's a lot. It's like literally your life is just like put on pause, and the courts don't care if you got children. Amanda said Jay-Z next. Listen, if he ain't living right, then listen, my thing is whoever ain't on the up and up, you need to be next. I've heard a lot of stories about him too. BM says maybe Stevie J. Listen, everybody, the way that this U.S. attorney said, listen, everybody can get it. You ain't living right, then you can be next too. They got that Oprah energy. You can get it. You can get it. You can get it. Oprah's favorite things. And that's what I pulled out of that little press conference. I don't know what y'all pulled out of it, but that's what I pulled out of it. Amanda said, did you see the video of Meek Mill I did it with sick and used him in the pool, calling him daddy, saying, put that work in, etc. You could see in his face, his cheeks were in pain. His cheeks were in pain. It was beyond sick. Jeez. Yes, I've seen that. Oh my God. The things that people do for money. That's that stuff I'm talking about. Just to be put on. The things that people will be willing to do. Do you feel sorry for them? When somebody's willing to just risk it all and and put their dignity online and they manhood, their sexuality just for fame, money, like to each his own. But my thing is, what I'm not here for is you doing all of that for whatever you're doing it for, and then later coming back saying, okay, I want to sue you because I chose to go ahead and do that stuff because I wanted whatever I wanted. I don't know. It's just a balance there for me to where I need to hear like the details surrounding situations, because sometimes people be signing up for foolishness at the time and then they later circle back and then want to, get paid because they said yes to it. But at the same time, if you're putting people in situations like that, I do think, those people need to be dealt with and they need to have their pockets hit. So I'm not mad that Cassie got that man for a gabillion dollars. I'm not mad at all. I'm not mad at all. Amanda says at PM, I saw that tape with Stevie J and Johnson said he was that way inclined. Wow. Amanda says, rest in peace, Kim Porter. Yes, I'm sure she's looking down, shaking her head, happy that he's getting his day. Hopefully with this investigation, her name is heavy in it, where them trying to investigate, the cause behind her death, because I was always hearing chatter, chatter centered around, him having some type of involvement with her death. Don't know if it's true or not, but listen, while they looking at damn lubricants and looking in underground tunnels, hell, look for stuff centered around her too. Look for stuff that got her name on it too. So you might as well look at it all. But I get the sense that they're not going to leave a rock unturned, and they are just looking at everything with the fine-tooth comb, looking through with the magnifying glass. Like listen, we finally got to this point, and y'all, I pointed out, is women on this unit. They call it the civil rights unit in the criminal unit. It's a civil rights unit within the criminal unit. These women ain't playing. They are not playing. So I feel like, yes, they got the good sis Kim, the late Kim Porter, in mind, and they're looking to see if in any type of way he was behind her death, as they should. Amanda says that was Kim Porter baby daddy, who Carl think it was. I can't remember his name. No, her baby daddy is, I'll be sure. It was a different guy, Kid Cudi, I think his name. That's who Carl was blown up. But I'll be sure, the singer, that's who Quincy, her son, that's his father. So yeah. Amanda says Quincy Jones is her son from a previous partner. No, Quincy Jones is he's like a musician. So Quincy Jones is like a big time, like music exec type person that put people on. So that's a different Quincy. Quincy, I don't know what Quincy's last name is. But Quincy, Kim's son, has a son named Quincy. So Quincy Jones is an old man. Google Quincy Jones. He's an old man. Quincy, Kim Porter's son, he's a young guy in his 20s, and I think he's still in his 20s. His father is a singer by the name of I'll Be Sure. So that's his father. Jen says, hopefully they will revisit Kim cause of death. Yes, they need to. Virtuous says, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for that. Yes, please like, share, and subscribe. Welcome, you all. Welcome. Jen says, I remember that Puffy Camp question, right? He was like, no, I ain't sending my kids. Amanda said, it's so refreshing to talk about something different than who. Right. That's why, y'all, I got a whole nother page, because I said I have to separate this, because when I would kind of try to talk about other things on the other channel, folks wasn't collectively really here for it, like, with, showing up and, hearing, listening to the content or anything outside of her. So I'm like, okay, I'll create a second channel where I can just venture over there and talk about, other things I like to talk about. So when I first came on the scene as a content creator, I covered like this type of news, celebrity news. Like I really enjoyed it. And then I did some other things. So I'm happy to be back in this sector. It's just that my rose content, my other content basically is just over on my bigger channel. This channel will have this. It's just my anything goes channel. And maybe I can try to, again, introduce some more, type of content like this on my other channel. But child, folks over there, listen, if I am not talking about the prune, they ain't trying to hear it. They were not trying to hear it, but I needed a backup channel anyway, because y'all know she was coming for me. So I'm like, okay, I'll do my entertainment, my viral news stuff over here on this channel. So, but it's been fun because I'm back to doing, something that I do enjoy doing. I do enjoy talking about just different types of things going on in the world. Laura says, I believe there was 1024 bottles. There was 1,024 bottles and the agents, 8 of them took 3 each. Hell no. Jesus, not 1,024. Oh my goodness. They said 1,000 plus. So that means it was some odd numbers. So you might be right. Oh, Laura said brother oil. So you said add that to the documents. Brother oil, not brother love, brother oil. PM says brother love oil man likes playing around with men in the closet. Child, because you ain't using all that oil for no woman. No, y'all know he ain't using that oil with no woman. Laura says baby oil as a lubricant breaks down condoms that protects against disease, but these guys have no fear of diseases, infections, the law, but just wait until the IRS gets them. Laura said, listen, as a white woman, we don't play about them taxes. Pay your taxes. Listen, if he ain't paying something, y'all know they all up in his business. We gonna hear about it. PM said, I don't believe the camera. I don't believe that cameras be in the court. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I'm sure there'll be people on the internet that's going to be covering it. Because usually, hopefully, a normal trial is typically what, around maybe 2-3 weeks. So there'll probably be some content creators up in there, because y'all know content creators are the new journalists. So there will probably be some content creators up in there, taking notes, coming back and, reporting on it and things like that. So I'll just kind of have to just keep my ear out to listen, out to, hear what some of those people are saying about what's going down in the courtroom, because I definitely want to continue to cover it. PM says, no jury for me. Me neither. PM says, I feel sorry that Diddy didn't stop instead of getting the big head. Yes, me too. I think I wish that it, and I think it all just, I really just feel like a lot of it is just rooted in just his upbringing and what he was exposed to. And it just kind of went down from there. He just got worse. It was almost like his mom, like his family, like they created a monster. I say his mom because they said, from what I've heard someone say today, his dad passed away when he was like 3. I don't even know how his dad died. If he, someone killed him, I heard, he was about that life. He was a street dude. So someone probably took him out, but I'm not quite sure what happened with his dad. But this that's going on with him, you all, this is deep rooted type stuff. This is him and how he's, handled the traumas that he's endured. He's inflicted pain onto other people. I wonder what type of, experiences that he had with people who he trusted or he thought he could trust, because this what he's doing, it's not normal. Amanda says she is so true. Some people went along with it and sold their soul for the money, and others were drugged and raped and recorded, then blackmail. Right. So you got people who fell into different categories. So yes, that's Quincy Brown. Yes, so Quincy Brown, yep, that's Kim Porter's son, handsome guy, great actor, great musician as well. From what I've heard, Diddy kind of held his career back as an actor just by just wanting to just control things, because there was like television, daytime shows and things that, that he was on, and there was a show I used to like to watch that he was on called Star. He did really well on that. And then I heard he was supposed to have like a reoccurring role on that popular show Empire, but Diddy kind of interfered with that and was trying to, he wasn't, he didn't like the contract that the creative person for that show Empire, I think that's Lee Daniels' show, basically he didn't like the terms that Lee Daniel had, written up for, the offer, I guess, that he was making for Quincy for that role. Puffy didn't like it, didn't think it was good enough. So basically it was like, okay, well, fine. I think he was on there for a little bit and that was that. It wasn't like it was something that turned into like a really big role that he could kind of grow into. But from what I hear, it was because Puff Daddy interfered and wanted to control it. And I think it was really rooted in him just not wanting to see Quincy just become really big. I think that there's a thing with him, and that's could be a narcissistic trait where he wants to make sure that people close to him always kind of stay beneath him, where they always stay in a position where they need to kind of depend on him. That's what I feel. And that comes from a sense of control. Amanda says it stems from his own childhood. Look at R. Kelly and what happened to him and brothers in childhood. Right. R. Kelly talked about, I think there was talks about with, he had, his relationship with his mom wasn't always like appropriate and things like that. I think he said he was violated for the first time by his sister, older sister. So yeah, there was definitely abuse that took place with R. Kelly, as a little boy. And in turn, he morphed into an abuser himself, which is far too often, that's the way it happens, where people who were once abused, they turn into abusers themselves. It's just a vicious, like sad, bad cycle. Amanda says, very handsome, looks so much like his mom. Yeah, he is. He looks really like his dad. Look at his dad. I'll be sure. Look up his father. He looks to me more like his mom than his dad. They're the same skin complexion. But yes, they're all, beautiful children, Puffy, Kim Porter, like all the children are very good looking kids. Unfortunately, let me see how many kids it is. It's the 3 boys, 4 girls. So out of what we got about 8 kids, like somebody 9, because he got baby love. Somebody out of all them kids that he got, unfortunately, there are going to be a few that are going to have real issues, like issues that really like impact negatively like other people's lives, as far as like the behaviors and the things that they do onto other people. I think probably more so the boys versus the girls. I think the girls run risk of getting into toxic relationships with men who will use and abuse them because, they've seen their dad treat women in a certain type of way. So for them, they think, oh, well, maybe this is normal to be spoken to this type of way. This is normal for a man to touch me in this type of way. So I think that at least a good 2 of the girls out of the 4 will experience that, unfortunately. And then with the boys, out of the 3 boys, I'm going to say probably at least 2 of the boys are going to be probably a very good chance that they'll be abusers when it comes to like women or whoever, they get into relationships with. I say all this to say is that it's just the way it happens when you grow up with a toxic parent and you see and you become exposed to so much. It's almost like it's inevitable for some of that toxic energy to get onto you. And it's just, we have the responsibility to try to combat that, to work against it. And we can try our best to not absorb it all, but there's usually like some things that we still kind of absorb and take on, and then we have to, struggle with trying to overcome. It's just the way it is because we're human and we're a creature of habit. We're a product of our environment, all of those things. So it's just unfortunate that that some of these children are in turn going to become either abused, or they are going to become abusers, or both. It's very sad. It's very sad, but this is how it works. Amanda says he treated him different as he's the stepson. Even the brothers did sound like some else we know, right? Like, yeah, he was a stepson. He was a stepson. PN says, yes, I believe so too. It is what it is, you know. I say things over here or even on my other channel, and they don't always sound all nice and warm and fuzzy, but it's not rooted into that. Is, you know, what I talk about is just rooted into just what the science shows, what the stats show, like the reality of a situation. And sometimes the reality of a situation isn't pretty. A lot of times it's not pretty. And I just paint the picture to just let you all know, or to show really the severity of any type of situation. The severity, that's why it, like, the energy that we put off into our children, the quality of the homes that we have, like it really makes a difference when you have impressionable people in the household, because they are absorbing that. They are absorbing that. And how you know what type of parent you were is going to show in how your children move, how they move, like, while, you know, as they're growing and when they become an adult. You are, like, as I like to say that, you know, when you're married, you're in a relationship, you all are representations of one another. Well, when you have children, your children is a representation of you. You are a representation of your children, because you're an extension of one another, and your children know what you taught them. So if your children is running around acting unruly, disrespectful, being unkept, like, that is it comes from you, whoever the caretaker is. That's just the way it is. And that's why we, as responsible adults, we have to be cognizant of the energy that we give off, what we do, how we move, what we say, the language we speak, our tone, all of that, because our children, they're absorbing all of that. And it's just, all we're going to do now is just sit back and watch all of the Cone children just grow and have their experiences in life. And because they're famous, is going to make the media. And for some of them, the boys, we've heard about toxic behaviors, for example, with the sons, Justin, I've heard about inappropriate things happening between the sons and women, such as Justin, the oldest son, and Christian, the son that Puffy has with Kim Porter. I've heard about, you know, inappropriate things happening with them. And I think some of those things might even be on camera. So as they talk about other people possibly later being indicted and things like that, do y'all think that it's a good chance that any of his children can be named in the indictments? Let's talk about it. It is, listen, I'm just putting it out there. Amanda says, Sheik, it molds your child. Yeah, like your children is, you know, they're just a product of, you know, whatever they see, their environment. So right now, as parents, as we're raising children, I'm raising children, and my children are teenagers. My oldest is now a young adult, 19. The way he moves and how he shows up in the world as a young man, it's a direct result of how my husband and I raised him. He's moving based off of the values that we instilled in him. Fortunately, we instilled great values in him. So he's a great, you know, young man. He's moving with class and character, responsible, a gentleman. All those things is because of that's what he saw in the home. He's seen his father showing respectful behavior to other people, to me, to him, to his siblings, to other family members, to strangers. That's what he saw. He's seen the way his mom shows up, how I carry myself, how I conduct myself. Like, these are things that makes a difference for our children, because it gives them an idea of what they should expect for how someone should move. They're going to look for, okay, men to move in a way of what they saw from their father. They're going to look for women to move in a way in which they saw from their mother. Child, that's how it works. That's how it works. PN said, yes, because I think one of them sons has an open SA case. Exactly. I feel like I'm not sure which one it is, if it's Justin or Christian, but I've heard both of their names like come up in things. I've never heard anything with Quincy's name. That's the son, that's technically Puffy's stepson. So that's Kim's son and I'll be sure's son. I've never heard anything suspect come up with Quincy's name. But with Justin and Christian, oh yes. And from what I've seen or heard, Christian, the one that looks like him, that's the son of Kim, he acts just like him. He acts and moves just like his daddy. And that is not good. That is not good. That is not good. But that's just what I've heard. And if that is the case, it's going to list what they say was done in the dark will come out in the day. If that is the case, all of that is going to all come out. People are now talking. This is the season. Listen, Cat William got the year popping when he said this is the year of the reveal. Everything like the veil like has been lifted, and everything that has been hidden for so long in this industry is being revealed. We're talking about it. We're assessing it. We're forming opinions. We're trying to make predictions, child. We are here for people being dealt with. I know I am. I'm here for people being dealt with. And I see that I'm not alone just by getting on the internet. People aren't coming to his defense. They are not running to his defense, rightfully so. But some of those people who are quiet, I feel like they have their own skeletons, and it's just a matter of time of when their skeletons will come out the closet. And if P. Diddy stays alive throughout this ordeal, I feel like he's going to be naming names. But even if he don't even name names, if they have the videos, you're going to see people on the videos. They going to see the people. They going to see the people in the videos. They might now try to refer to him. Well, hey, what's the name of that person? But if it's celebrity people, like they're going to be in the videotapes. So he may not even have to necessarily talk. If they see the inappropriate things taking place in the video, then they can go with that. They can go with that. So this year is nearing to be very interesting. Y'all know at the end of the year, they always do the highlights for the year. What was the biggest moment of the year? Do you all think the biggest moment of the year has already happened, which is Puff Daddy, P. Diddy getting arrested? Because y'all know at the end of the year, they do the countdown, the biggest event for 2024. Do you all think something bigger is going to take place before this year ends? We are now in September, October, November, December. We got 3 more months. Do you all think that anything bigger is going to unfold? Anything bigger than this case? Because right now he is definitely making that list of like the top stories for 2024. Yes, it is. Listen, 2024, child, it's been on and popping. PM say, me too. People need to pay for their actions. Amanda says, people will be called forward. Amanda says, as they're on the tapes, bang to the right. Trump gonna get it. Listen, them people ain't trying to stop. So listen, who gonna take control over the media? Is it gonna be Trump or P. Diddy? And the thing, both of those cases, big like New York cases. New York, listen, New York is showing out. New York is showing out. So what's gonna be what's gonna be the highlight for this year? Because we still got the election. This is election year, so November. I don't know if it's November 5th, but the election day. So whatever the outcome for that day, that's going to be big news. And then whatever fallout coming from that. So it is going to be interesting to see. Lord willing, we are all still here to be celebrating, the new year to come in, and to be able to watch or listen as someone talks about the big events that transpired in 2024. But right now, this arrest right now is huge. But Trump assassination attempts, that's huge too. So it's listen, child, we probably gotta need to put some bets. What's gonna be who gonna overpower the news, Trump or P. Diddy? PM says, ain't no telling. I won't be shocked. Right. It's almost like every month, like when you think you heard something big, child, then it's something else bigger. Like it's always something. So you right about that. Amanda says, third time lucky. Lord Jesus. That man, listen, he might be like a cat, black cat, what they say, the cat got 9 lives. So I don't know, child, but we are here for all of it. I thank each and every one of you for coming through tonight to talk about this case with me, because it was a lot. There's definitely probably going to be more to come. So I want to definitely continue to cover it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, we just going to this channel. There's going to be other stories. Check out some of my other content I've posted if you haven't yet. But yeah, this is just my channel where I'm just reacting to just viral moments and things that are taking place in the world, regardless whether, entertainment, content creation, politics, anything, just major stories. This is a channel where I want to cover it. It's a nice change from the main channel. Amanda, good night. Sheik PM, good night. Thank you for coming through again, Amanda. But yes, I've had a wonderful time. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and make sure you have the notification bell on so you know the next time I go live, because over here we get into some things, all things Queen of Kings related. It's a beautiful thing over here, child. PM says, good night, Amanda, Sheik, and others. Thank you. Good night. Good night. So yes, we are the honor students. Listen, my main channel, I refer to us as the honor students. Over here, we are still the honor students. And it's about using discernment, using common sense, leading with logic, versus emotion, and just really assessing a situation and trying to really understand what the hell is going on and asking the tough questions, because that's the only way we know. It's the only way we get these answers. We require for people to raise up to our level. We don't stoop down to theirs. So listen, it's about elevating one another, going deep with our thoughts. And that's what it's about, coming over here, collaborating, having healthy conversations and just talking about what's transpiring in the world so we can try to get an understanding and know what the hell not to do, because that's what it's about, what not to do. And all of this is what you don't want. This is not what you want. So continue to follow me if you want to just stay in the know and to know what it is that we do not want to do out here in these streets, because child, it is going down and we are here for it to uncover and to talk about it. So I am Sheik. This is my channel, Sheik Speaks, and I will catch you on the next live broadcast. Peace.